You did it! You booked your first Carnival cruise. Congratulations! Now the countdown is officially on. While you dream of sea days and sunshine, you might wonder what comes next. Now, before you even step foot on ship, you need to check in. Now, if that feels a little intimidating, don't worry. I'm gonna walk you through every single step, including when to check in and what info you even need. I'm also gonna give you my secret check-in tip. My name is Ruben. I love food and cruising on Carnival and sharing my tips and ventures with all of you. Now, before we get into the details, let's cover the most important tip. And no, it has nothing to do with the motion in the ocean. When it comes to checking in, timing is everything. The critical tip: if this is your first cruise, you probably want to snag the earliest possible arrival time. This maximizes your time on the ship because you're paying for the whole day anyway. Why pay for a full day and only get half? There's one more critical thing to know when checking in, and I'll get back to that later. First of all, you have to be ready and know when to check in. Carnival's online check-in opens exactly 14 days before your cruise, right at the stroke of midnight Eastern time. Remember to adjust based on your location. Since I live in San Diego, I get to check in at 9 p.m. the day before. For the best shot at those early time slots, you will want to be logged in and ready to go the second it opens. Now, this midnight rule applies to the vast majority of United States sailings, but it's always smart to double check if you are on a less common international or charter cruise. If you log into your Carnival account, it will tell you when check-in is available. Here's another tip from experience. Do yourself a favor and complete the check-in process on a desktop or laptop. While you can use your phone, the Carnival app just sends you to their website anyway, and the desktop version is a whole lot easier to manage. Plus, there's a lot of stuff that you need to type in. The step-by-step walkthrough. All right, let's get you checked in. But wait, people ask me, Adam, don't I need to collect all kinds of stuff to have them at my fingertips to be ready to check in? First of all, my name's not Adam. Second of all, no, you actually don't need that. And that is my life-changing tip. You can go through the entire check-in process to secure your arrival time first. Stay tuned and I'll explain exactly what you need to do. Logging in and finding the check-in button. First things first, head over to carnival.com. In the top right-hand corner, log into your account. If you have not created one yet, now is the perfect time. It only takes a minute and you'll link your cruise with your 6-digit booking number. Once you are logged in, you'll see that glorious countdown to your cruise. Click on that. That will take you to your cruise planner and there, your to-do list. You will see online check-in button. As soon as that 14-day window opens, the button will come to life. Click it and let's get started. Pause. Here is the cool part. You do not need to enter all of the information right now. Just go to the bottom and hit skip on everything until you get to arrival appointment. Pick your arrival time and complete your check-in. This ensures that you get the slot you want before they book up. Then you can go back and complete check-in later. If it's midnight and you just want to go to bed, this is amazing. Just remember to go back and finish the check-in process because you only have 2 weeks to do that. Now, I know that I said the earliest arrival time is best. Stick with me because later on I will explain the pros and cons of different arrival times. But first, let's go back through the entire check-in process and enter in all of our information to actually complete check-in. Guest information. First up is your personal info. You will enter your full legal name, birth date, address, and phone number. You will also need to list an emergency contact. Important point. You need to enter the same name that is on the documentation that you are going to provide. So if you are getting your name changed like you get married, make sure all of your information and what you enter in line up and match. That might mean using your maiden name. Now, here's a great little shortcut. If everyone in your cabin has the same address, you can enter the details once and just click a button to copy it to the other guests. Travel documents. Next, you need to tell Carnival which form of ID you will be bringing. You can use a valid US passport that does not expire for another 6 months at least, a passport card, or for most cruises that start and end in the United States, an official birth certificate plus a government issued photo ID will do it. Again, remember, that all of the documentation you provide needs to match your exact name that you enter into Carnival. If those names don't match, you won't get on board. You will enter the document number and expiration date for each person. The system is pretty smart and will flag any documents that are close to expiring. Remember that passports need to be valid for at least 6 months past your time of sailing. Another question I hear all the time is if you need a real ID. Now, a real ID is just another form of valid identification like a driver's license. You still need a passport or birth certificate in addition to your government issued photo ID. One thing to note is that you do need a real ID when you are flying. Or if you're like me, just sign up for global entry and that card, that works too. Travel plans. This part is pretty quick. Carnival just wants to know how you are getting to the port. Are you flying in, driving, getting dropped off? This is important info so Carnival knows what relevant information they need to tell you about. Like if you need to park off-site. Arrival appointment. Okay, this is the main event. There are a list of 30-minute arrival time slots. Another important note. The time listed on your boarding pass is an arrival time, not boarding time. Subtle but important difference. What this means is that the time that's on your boarding pass is what time you should arrive at port. At Long Beach Port, most ships board around 11 or so. So if your arrival window is from 10 to 10:30, you might spend a little bit of time waiting around inside the port. If your arrival time is after 11, you usually could just walk right onto the ship. Here are the 3 most common approaches to picking arrival boarding times and their pros and cons. Earliest possible. If you are the type of person who's early for everything, then you already know this is for you. Earliest possible has the most flexible because more often than not, if you're late, it does not matter as much as if you're earlier than your arrival time. Because they board the ship according to zones, having the earliest arrival time means you get on the ship the earliest and can maximize every minute of your vacation. The con is that you might spend some time hanging out in the port terminal. A surprising pro to that though, is that they have these arcade games that are free, so you can hang out and play free arcade games while you wait. Midday arrival. Midday arrival. Many experienced cruisers swear by a midday arrival right around 1 p.m. If you know the ship like the back of your hand, then you might prefer getting to port right around 1 p.m. because there usually isn't as much of a line and you can just walk right on the ship and go straight to your cabin that's usually ready right around 1:30. This means you can carry on all of your luggage and have everything available with you. You do not have to wait for your checked luggage to show up whenever it pleases, or even be one of the horrible few people that have had their luggage lost. Now don't worry, that does not happen very often. Latest arrival. It is very rare for me to see, but there are still a few of those people who try to be last to everything. Maybe you want to squeeze in a half day of work, or you want to fly into town the same day. Whatever the reasoning, I highly recommend you do not do this. All it takes is a random unforeseen event like a traffic jam to delay you just enough for the cruise ship to leave without you and ruin your trip. When I'm recording this right now, we are in the middle of a government shutdown. And I flew here to this hotel and I had to deal with all kinds of different travel arrangement hiccups and stuff. And I actually flew in kind of a day and a half early just to make sure that I would get here and would not miss the workshops that I am facilitating. Onboard expenses. Here you will enter a credit card for your onboard expenses. I definitely do not recommend using a debit card. And there are way too many reasons to go into for that here. You can also use cash, but you cannot do that until you get on the ship. You need to do this because on the ship, everything is cashless. All your drinks, souvenirs, and extra are charged to your sign and sail card. Speaking of that, let me explain what a sign and sail card is. Around 1:30 p.m. when everyone gets access to their cabins, you will go find your cabin. You will see a little envelope. Open it to find your sign and sail card. Double check that it's yours. You also use your sign and sail card for almost everything on the ship. Most importantly, your sign and sail card is also your cabin key, just like a hotel. Anytime you need to purchase something or make a transaction, you will give your card to the crew. You need it to get an alcoholic beverage, even if you have the Cheers program. You need it to buy specialty coffee or shakes, even if you have the Cheers Zero Proof program. And you also need it to make any purchases at the fun shop or the spa. You also need your sign and sail card when you leave the ship to get back on board. And very important, on disembarkation day, you will need your card to check out and leave. So do not pack it up with your stuff or put it in your checked luggage the night before. Cruise preferences. Almost there. Here, you will confirm a few small details. If you have not already picked your dining time, you can do that now. You can set your cabin preference to 2 twins or a single king if your cabin configuration supports it. Not all of them do. Cruise contract. And finally, the part that everyone loves to read, the cruise ticket contract. Yes, it is a very long legal document. You have to accept the terms of sale, so go ahead and click accept to make it official. You will also be asked to agree to their Smile and Go facial recognition, which is the system that United States Customs uses to make getting off the ship at the end of your cruise much faster. Caveat: you might want to read that long legal document because it has some important information that has tripped up a few people. Confirmation and final tips. That's it. Now you'll land on the confirmation screen telling you that you're all set. From here, you can print your boarding passes and luggage tags. Make sure you print both of these before you leave home. Although, if you forget, they can sometimes print them out for you at port. Now that you have your luggage tags, a cheap tip is to buy these luggage tag holders from Amazon to prevent the paper tags from ripping off or getting messed up. If you're flying in, I recommend not attaching your luggage tags until after you land from your flight to avoid any mix-ups with your airline. Speaking of port, if you are sailing out of Long Beach, you want to watch this ultimate guide if you are sailing on the Radiance, Firenze, Panorama, or Legend out of Long Beach. Check out that video here.